as I've been going through chemotherapy and, the reality of the surgery I had before that, and the fact that I'm approaching my 50th birthday, although, not there yet, but getting close. I've been thinking about life experiences that I have had that feel kind of unfathomable in a modern era. Things that you just don't think anyone could experience now. And who knows how much of an impact that they had on your life, but they're interesting tidbits of a personal history that younger people wouldn't experience. So as I get older and, contemplate mortality and all of that, here's some things that stand out from my personal history that I don't think could happen in the modern era. So when I was a kid, I grew up in small to midtown Florida. Wouldn't say that it was super rural, but not exactly a big city either. And when I was in high school, I had a teacher who refused to teach evolution and instead read Genesis from the Christian Bible. I certainly hope that's something that doesn't happen now. But yeah, that was definitely a thing that happened way back then. And then moving up a few years when I went to college, it was kind of at the dawn of right at the start of the internet era and definitely before the cell phone era. And so when I was in the dorms, we had one landline, which already makes you an old person if you're talking about landlines. But we had one landline for all of our dorm floor. So if you wanted to call your family or something like that, you had to sit in basically the kind of student lounge living room area and use the one phone that was there for that purpose. That was, the only way you could get it done back then. And then moving up another few years, I used to own a Toyota Corolla, had a little 10-gallon gas tank in it. It was a great car. I owned it for quite a while, gave it to my sister who owned it for quite a while. And eventually, we even traded it in for some amount of money, after more than a decade of family ownership of that car. But the thing that I remember distinctly about that car is that at one point, I was able to fill up the entire 10-gallon gas tank for less than $9. I think gas at the time was 80 cents a gallon. So yeah, that's definitely something you just can't imagine now. In fact, my current car, I don't think $9 would get me even a quarter of a tank. So definitely not an experience that people are having anymore. And then finally, my first tattoo was done in South Carolina, but it was done illegally because South Carolina at the time, didn't legalize tattooing until I think 2004. I got my first tattoo in the late 90s. And yeah, it was illegal in the entire state. There were no tattoo shops, there were no licensed tattooers, health inspectors, anything like that. In the entire state, it was illegal to do a tattoo. And so I got tattooed by a guy who used to work in a shop on the North and South Carolina border. And he would come back into town every now and then, and you could convince him to do a tattoo in his kitchen. And then one last thing, thinking about South Carolina again, where I spent my early 20s. In South Carolina at the time, alcohol was portioned out in mini bottles, and that was the only way you could get alcohol in bars, and bars had no closing time. Something harrowing and awe-inspiring and terrifying about coming out of a bar and seeing the sun up. But it was definitely a thing that we did. Yeah. And if you ever hear somebody from South Carolina talking about a shot split multiple ways, they're from the old mini bottle era. That's it.